Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for October 22nd, 2022, which hosts Space Worker 2448 and Wrap It Up Salon.
Hi.
Also, damn, for any of the random songs to pick off the playlist for stream, it picks one of the Pursuit themes from Ace Attorney.
Almost fitting.
Yep. Yeah, it is not a super packed week of news, but there's certainly a lot to talk about, at least in the first half, because honestly, one of the things we'll talk about is the biggest thing to talk about from this past couple weeks. But we'll get to that and much more. But Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
I mean, truthfully, not really much.
Fair. I picked up Sparks of Hope. Got to play it for a little bit.
Nice.
So there definitely it feels different from the original, and like straight off the bat, because it doesn't have the grid system anymore. It's more of a radius system, where essentially your character has a certain radius that they can move within. Also, interesting enough, the super jump has been changed. Because of the whole radius system now, you actually get to float in whatever direction you want, and you have the ability to increase the time you can float. I'm not sure you can land on enemies to damage them. I haven't been able to. I also don't think I've really tried. Also, it seems like, unless Rabbit Luigi has this upgrade, or it's an upgrade in someone's ability tree, because I haven't looked too much into the ability trees, all the characters only have one dash, but if enemies are lined up next to each other, you can get a multi-dash through all of them and get damage on all of them.
Love that.
Also, there are no weapon upgrades. You pretty much have the same weapon, and every character only has one weapon now. They've trimmed down everyone's weapon arsenal down to one specific weapon. So you don't have a weapon and a sub-weapon, and you don't have upgrades to them. You just get different skins for the weapons over the course of the game from various unlocks and stuff.
I feel like that actually might be better.
Yeah, because all of your damage upgrades for your weapons and attacks and stuff are just now in the skill tree. That's where it's all there. That's how you get more damage and stuff. Which honestly I'm fine with. That's just less micromanaging. Being like, all right, what weapon do I pick? Do I pick the better weapon with not element, or better weapon with element? Because that's kind of what it came down to in the first game. Also, elements, all of the elemental stuff, is on the sparks now, and that is universal. You can equip any character with any spark. And the sparks are more or less a ability you proc when you want to. So if you want fire damage, you can turn that on now if you want and get it for a turn. If not, you don't have to. But they also come with different ones. There's one that when you turn it on, any damage you take is reflected back at the enemy that damaged you. There's also a defense buff one. There's an attack and movement buff one. So they're all sorts of different stuff, and you can swap them around between the different characters. Also, the sparks are upgradable because you get star bits. And you can feed the starter bits to the sparks along with a specific like upgrade potion you can also pick up in the shops and stuff. Because there's shops now that'll give you items to use in battle. Because you can use items now. You have health potions in the form of mushrooms, essentially. But you got that. You've got a cooldown resetter that'll reset all your cooldowns and stuff. And you got I forget what the third one is offhand. But you got 3 items you can pick up with the coins that you pick up on the maps. Also, the levels are more open in a sense. So your first level is just this open map of sorts, and you're just kind of going around picking up different main quests and side quests, because there's now side quests in the game that are either like puzzle solving or like a quick battle against a specific enemy. So it's a very different feeling game from the first one. And there's a lot of good improvements and stuff. Also, all the rabbits now have voice acting. Just throwing that out there. All the rabbits have voices now.
I don't know how I feel on that.
I'm good with it because all the voices match. Like, they match exactly the characters you'd expect. But the voice acting is kind of the same as the Mario characters, where it's just certain lines they'll say, but otherwise, it's not like the game is fully voiced. It's kind of just the same kind of voice acting you'd expect from a Mario game. Bebo even has a voice now. But again, honestly, it feels like the voices I would expect of these characters, given their personalities and stuff from the first game. So Rabbit Peach sounds like, you know, a California girl or someone from California. Rabbit Luigi sounds like a dork. Rabbit Mario sounds like a big, tough, macho man. But yeah, it's very good. I'm really enjoying it. I wish to play more once I'm done with work. I want to spend a whole day just playing this and just sitting back and enjoying it. Besides that, did a bit of the Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher on stream. It was fun. It's very much a Monster Rancher game from what I've seen. There's nothing really spectacularly different here. So if you played a Monster Rancher, hey, it's all the same Monster Rancher stuff. If you have played a Monster Rancher, congratulations. Here's your introduction to Monster Rancher. I can't really test out its ability to scan RFID chips. At least the proper Ultraman stuff, like the Ultra Medals from Zed or the cards from the Ultra Fight. Or not Ultra Fight. Is it Ultra Fight? The arcade game. You can scan those and I assume get specific monsters. Apparently, you can scan anything with an RFID chip that's not Amiibo, apparently. You can't scan Amiibo in this for some reason.
Boo.
This Switch exclusive game cannot scan Amiibo, but it can scan like your debit card and stuff, or like any of your cards that have an RFID chip in it. And it will like generate a monster from that. Let's see, other than that, oh, I got my my Beast Wars shelf almost complete. I'm just waiting for Inferno to come out. So my Beast Wars shelf will be done. Hooray. It's honestly not been much else besides work, which the last week was rough. I think it broke me.
I mean, it's easy enough to have happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was just like one thing after another for like 2 days straight that I was just like, I'm done. I'm physically and mentally done now. But anywho, shall we get into the news then?
Guess so.
So, first up, we have a brand new Mortal Kombat mobile game. Speaking of, oh, I forgot that there's something else I played. I played that new Marvel card game, Marvel Snap. Have you heard of that?
No. No, I have not.
Okay. Essentially, it's like a quick, like, you're done within 5 minutes kind of card game where you have 3 areas and you put down up to 4 cards of from your deck into these different areas, and you spend like an energy per turn or a certain amount of energy per turn. And it's only 6 turns, and you get 1 energy every turn. So you start the first turn with 1 energy, second turn 2 energy, third turn 3 energy, so on and so forth. And you're trying to get the most power per area, and if you get 2 out of 3 areas, you win the game. It's a fairly simple setup and stuff. I enjoyed it for the little bit I played. It was a nice little quick and done kind of thing. They're really promoting that everybody's here essentially when it comes to Marvel. And they're doing a lot of variant arts and stuff. So like a Hulk card, for example. You can get the Hulk card, but then you can also change the artwork on it to like, I don't know, a cartoon Hulk or a chibi Hulk. Or for an Iron Man card I've gotten recently, you get a pixel art Iron Man.
That is a completely different thing.
Yes, but you get a pixel art Iron Man, and it's the same card. It's just a different artwork for personal preferences, which is a really cool idea, I feel like. So it's like, okay, I'm not having to choose to either have a better deck or a good-looking deck. I can just have both. And I kind of appreciate that. Otherwise, it's been nice, simple. Like, it's something to, like, play when you're waiting on something or just want to burn a couple hours or so. But otherwise, back to what we were talking about before. Mortal Kombat Onslaught, a mobile RPG coming next year. So you can build up a team of Mortal Kombat fighters, a brand new original storyline just for this game. And it's a collectathon RPG. So pretty much to the Raid Shadow Legends, all the other RPGs where it's characters. You're getting characters. Would you like to spin the Gacha wheel and see if you can get the Sub-Zero? No, you got Bo Raisho. Nothing else besides this key art. Any feelings on this besides, oh look, it's a Mortal Kombat Gacha game.
I mean, that's Kombat Gacha game.
Yep.
Don't think there's.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna move on to one of the more, I guess, surprising things to come out. So G4 TV came back as a kind of channel and stuff on a couple streaming services and other such stuff, but less than a year from its return, it is shutting down. And from the reaction from Gerard, who was working with G4 TV, this was a surprise to at least the people working, because this is how this article and tweets and stuff that came out was how he found out he was without a job, at least with a G4, because he still has his YouTube stuff. So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's never a good way to find that out, but I also have to wonder if there weren't signs beforehand, kind of deal.
One such thing in this article, expenditures from guest talent seem to play a role. According to multiple G4 employees interviewed by the Washington Post, because this article comes from the Washington Post, some high-profile creators demanded day rates of $25,000 to $30,000 when invited to appear as guests on G4. $25,000 to $30,000 for like a day of work for some people they brought on.
Mm-hmm. I don't feel like it's right, but I also feel like I can completely understand why people would do that.
Yeah. Like, damn. I don't think you can pay 25 to 30K every time someone wants to show up on your network. For like 2 hours. I think you're spending a whole lot of money and not getting a whole lot in return.
Pretty much, yeah.
That, amongst a lot of layoffs and departures and stuff, kind of spelled doom for the network. So, any thoughts?
No, not really.
I watched a bit of the stuff, like just some of the YouTube stuff. I didn't really check in a whole lot. It's a shame, but it also kind of felt like I believe, Ty Tuesday, I think he was talking about this when he was talking game news this past week, or it might have been someone else that was talking about this. I forget. But essentially, what did G4 TV bring to the table with its revival when you have, 24 or so, or just like dozens upon dozens of YouTube channels and stuff that those people grew up with X-Play and the entirety of G4 TV and are doing the exact same thing G4 TV is doing.
Yep.
And G4 TV was just doing everything it was doing back then without any real evolution. So, yeah, it's not really bringing anything to the table besides, oh, hey, it's those people from that stuff I liked back in the day. But, on to probably the biggest thing that came out the past couple weeks. And it's going to take some explaining. So, this article is kind of like the current thing that came out. So, a while back, or last week, Helena Taylor, who is the original voice of Bayonetta in the first two games, posted a series of videos asking people to boycott the game because she received a very, as she said, insulting fee to reprise her role in Bayonetta 3. She was essentially offered, I believe, $4,000 for everything she was going to voice for that game. $4,000 and that's it. Apparently some reports have come out that disputed it, that she was actually getting offered higher than she said, but also it was very insultingly low for voice acting work in the video game industry. Like, stupid low. Jennifer Hale, who's taking over Bayonetta, or the voice acting for Bayonetta for 3, kind of took the middle ground on this, saying, hey, I hope everyone works out their differences, since I'm sure she wants to stay professional and not lose her job and not get blackballed or blacklisted.
I mean, same thing.
Yeah. Hideki Kamiya proceeded to post a series of tweets about this, and it got his Twitter account blocked because Twitter thought that he was spamming it and got hacked, and then his Twitter got deleted. And now Platinum has issued a statement on the whole matter. It reads as Platinum Games offers a serious appreciation to everyone who have contributed to creating the Bayonetta series over the years, as well as the community that has served as foundation. We give our further support to Jennifer Hale as the new Bayonetta, in line with everything in her statement. We ask that people refrain from any further comments that would disrupt Jennifer or any of the other contributors to the series, therefore not talking about the whole initial thing in general. But yeah, it has been a whole thing that has gone back and forth and will probably continue to go back and forth for a little bit. Any feelings on this?
Not really. Wouldn't open up a can of worms. Let me put it that way.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. I do kind of agree with some sentiments of, at least this might start a conversation about hopefully voice actors getting paid better when voicing games, since they are apparently getting critically underpaid for their work as compared to voice actors for like anime and the like.
But I also have to wonder if they actually are. Mm-hmm. When you sit back and also think about the simple fact of it's no uncommon thing that because of games selling at the $60 price tag right now, even the programming side of it is taking a cut kind of deal.
Probably.
I mean, there's been countless times where it's been a big debate point where the $60 price point kinda has to stay or they won't sell the games, but really because it has to stay, they have to sell so many thousands of games before they even really start making a profit.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, it's like, I feel it's unfair comparing video game voice acting and production and all of that really even to anime, when anime can be ran for years and decades on end, still making a profit the entire way.
Yeah.
It makes more sense to spend more on an anime early on, because case in point, you can look at a lot of animes that are out there that have been going on for years and are still getting new fans on the daily kind of deal. It's that rocky slope. A game gets out of date if it doesn't have a remaster within, what, about a decade kind of deal? Because at that point you can't get the console anymore to really play the game.
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
And you think about it too, even if you could get your hands on the console to play the game, chances are you're not getting a new copy of that game, you're getting a used copy, so the company that made it's still not getting the money.
Yeah.
It's one of those... I feel like that's a double-edged sword. Do I think they deserve more? Yes. Do I think where everything's sitting at that can happen? No. But at the same time, there's no good answer to it. Because just throwing a number out there, say, yeah, let's bump games up to $100 a piece. How many games do you think are actually going to be sold then? I almost think that's why digital's starting to become the bigger thing.
Yeah.
Less focus on the media then, more focusing on the server space that more than likely you're already going to be using. So, kind of kills one bird right there.
Yeah. And I think also the indie devs have figured this out. Do smaller games, smaller budget games. Don't shoot for the moon with AAA games. If you can do a smaller in scope game, it helps a lot because you're not having to put as much time, effort, and money into it.
I mean, that, but really the scale of the game kind of can help swing the sales too.
Yeah.
So that's that balancing act of figuring out the trick there.
Mm-hmm.
I really think the reason this hit so big is because of the bigger problem with you've got a big company backing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I say it that way because yes, Nintendo is publisher. But the same would have been said if that said Microsoft or Sony behind that too.
Yeah.
If this was purely Platinum was doing developing and publishing kind of deal, this probably wouldn't have blew up as big.
Yeah.
You tack one of the big names on there, then yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like there's a longer, in-depth conversation to have about, okay, how much are people in the industry actually making, and is it good wages and stuff for all of that, like not just voice acting, but like I said, programming, design work, the whole shebang. It's just like, honestly, how much money are people making in the industry, and is it really enough?
I also want to know, 4,000 for the voice acting in Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
Let's assume that's the straight out what it is.
Mm-hmm.
How many hours in a booth is that, though? I mean, are we talking 400 hours of recording? Because if so, then yeah, that's kind of crap. If we're talking about you put in one good week of work and you're there, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
There's far worse.
I feel like there's a lot of nuance in this. Unfortunately, we are not equipped for the nuance.
Yeah. That's one of those, yeah, it's all well and good throw the numbers out there to the public, but you've got to sit there and think, if it's 40 hours to record all the voice lines, that's $100 an hour. That's pretty good money.
Yeah, I make like 13 an hour.
I mean, if someone told me that I can work for 1 week and make $4,000, I'm gonna be like, okay, sure, sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
But if that is a case of that's what, say, the monthly would be, and you're working an entire month on then no, that's not going to work out. By all means, I completely understand getting ticked over that.
Yeah, because that is, I think according to my numbers, that would be half of what I make in a month.
I mean, that would be one of those I would be full on board with the, oh yeah, no. Just no. But I feel like the extra context needs to be there, not just for the fact that we're discussing it.
Mm-hmm.
The simple fact of anyone from the outside looking in. Because how many people have actually done voice work for a video game?
Mm-hmm.
Not too many people that's going to know if that sounds like a bad thing or a good thing.
Yeah, and I think as soon as you start picking sides on this, if you're in the industry, you start walking a very fine line of, am I upsetting the wrong people, and am I gonna lose my ability to have my job anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Like, someone like Charles Martinet is probably not going to chime in on this one way or the other because, yeah, I would like to still have my job. 'Cause...
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like there needs to be more information there.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, I know you probably could Google it, you probably could do some kind of numbers breakdown, a comparison of lines from the previous games to get a rough idea of how many lines that this would be and how long it would take to record and all this and that and the other. But most people aren't gonna, one, know how to do all that, or two, be willing to take the time. Because I could almost venture to say you could literally take Bayonetta 1 and 2, strip all of the lines, and get a rough idea, and I mean super rough idea, on how long it would take just to record those lines. That's not counting any cut takes, not anything like that.
Yeah, cut takes, retakes.
I mean...
just variations of lines just to do different inflections and stuff to see which one would work or not. Any warm-up sessions, any break time that would be paid for.
Because I know there is far more than just you say thing and go home.
Yeah. Any sort of extra talking with directors and producers to figure out like meeting time to figure out what needs to be done. Any like talk with scripts and stuff like this. There's a lot.
Yeah. That's why it's like it would be nice to know how much work is put into this, not just give us an alleged number and say this sucks. Because at that point, anything can sound bad.
Yeah.
I mean, without knowing all that context, you could say that you were offered $100,000 to do all the voice lines, and that was not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it, without any of that other information, no one could prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Platinum did the best move on just kind of saying we're going to walk this under the rug and leave it there, but at the same time, I don't know if this was Platinum's call.
Yeah.
When you start getting your money telling you what to do, you kind of just do it and say yes.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that if there's any backlash on Platinum because of how they're handling this, that there's at least someone out there saying, hey, it might not be them. They might be told to be doing this.
All right. Shall we then move on to the Silent Hill showcase then?
I guess so.
So Konami put out a showcase of Silent Hill, showing off different games and different other projects that they're currently working on. I'm just going to hit the list from top to bottom. Silent Hill 2, probably the most extensively looked at one. That isn't just a teaser. This will be coming out on PC and PlayStation 5. The PC release is going to be at least a year after the PlayStation 5 release, which is what Sony's kind of been doing for a lot of their exclusive stuff. Which, not a half bad idea.
Not really. But at the same time, a year feels like a little too much.
A little bit.
Because in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so that tells me that if I'm interested in Silent Hill 2, follow the initial where everyone with a PS5 is playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about the game, much like the rest of the internet will for about a year, and then play it on PC.
Yeah.
not necessarily the best course of action.
Yep. But this is a from the ground up remake. It'll be, I believe, third person. It's gonna be over the shoulder instead of the set camera angles that I believe Silent Hill normally has for some of its gameplay. I think it's gonna pull a little bit more from the Resident Evils, like the 4, 5, 2, 3 remake, essentially. This is gonna be from Blubber Team that did The Medium, which that's concerning because The Medium is not that good, but they've done other horror titles as well. Also, this is coming out, I believe, next year. I believe it's set for, or they didn't give a specific date for it.
I'm wanting to say I have heard next year though for it.
Next up, a teaser for Downfall, which is coming from I forget how to pronounce the studio's name. It's developer no code, or not no code. That's not the developer. This is Annapurna Interactive. Not much in the details. It's just it's Silent Hill Downfall. That's it. That's it. We're gonna get a new Silent Hill movie from the directors of the first one called Return to Silent Hill. It's gonna be more focused on Silent Hill 2, since the first Silent Hill movie was focused on 1, and then the Silent Hill 2 movie that nobody apparently really likes focused on 3. Then we also have Silent Hill Ascension, which is essentially, hey, you know those Telltale games that everyone likes? What if we did a stream of a Silent Hill-like game, and you got to vote on the choices, and that's it. That is literally all this is. And they were talking about how groundbreaking and how innovative it is. And I'm like, this is just a Telltale game where the chat just votes on stuff. This is the one Pokemon stream that I forget the name of offhand. Twitch plays Pokemon. This is just Twitch play Pokemon. Instead, it's Twitch plays Silent Hill. Literally. I don't... this is nothing new. And lastly, a brand new Silent Hill taking place in Japan. Silent Hill F. Again, it's a teaser. There's not much to it. But it's going to be developed by Neobards Entertainment. But that is the Silent Hill Showcase. How do you feel about the Silent Hill Showcase?
I feel like I want to come up with a pun about it being silent, but I can't think of nothing.
Fair. But yeah, it's like Silent Hill 2 is the only thing with like any sort of substance on it, and it's probably because it's the one like closest to being done.
It is the common thing that we've kept happening ever since COVID-19, honestly.
Yeah.
Where we've got stuff coming, we can't show you stuff because it's coming.
It's still in active development. To the point in like early in active development where we can't really show you anything because we don't really have anything to show.
Because we kind of had to, accidentally stumble because the entire world stumbled.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because I was in Carl's stream watching this with him, and I was just like, I'm so bored when they were talking about the movie stuff, because it was just two of the production staff just talking about nonsense for like a full 20 minutes, and I was just fucking bored. But yeah, we are like, do not mistake this, folks. We are still going to feel the effects of year one of COVID in game development for a while. Like year one of development, year one of COVID.
Which is weird because I would have expected program-based jobs to not have this kind of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like they're the ones that got affected by it worse.
I think when it comes to game development, because of the nature of like a lot of studios' processes, telling all of them to go, you can't meet in person. You now have to do this over over internet conference calls, and now having to figure out how to transfer assets back and forth, and figuring out, okay, how do we get people access to dev kits remotely? You now have to figure out this entire structure and in this entire system to get people on the same page when they can't even be in the same, like, within 20 feet of each other, really. Where they're going to be miles apart.
I guess with my thoughts, though, it just seems weird because the current gen consoles are not much more powerful than some of your mid to high tier gaming PCs.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, if anything, I would have more expected us to have games that had more bugs in it, more so than just be devoid of games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those, I'm like, I don't quite get that, because you could in theory rig up a server to just emulate as if a console was it kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Which would solve the dev kit idea. And it's one of those, I'm like, of all the parts of the industries that I figured wouldn't get hit by it as hard, I would have had to have pegged anything tech-based. Except for they're the ones that got hit the hardest. And I don't understand that.
I think it's because no one thought we would need to do this and then went, oh fuck, we need to figure out how to do this. Because I think not only do you have like all of the proper job related stuff, you also have all of the back end job stuff, like just clocking in and tracking people's hours.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about that. And I think it might have just been a resistance to be like, but this job's in an office, right?
I don't know if it's a resistance to that so much as it was a case of not necessarily the rest of the world, but at least America was in the mindset of, oh, this won't last long. It'll be fine. And then when it kept lasting longer, they're like, ah, crap, we've got to do something.
Yeah.
Whereas if everyone had just gotten in the mindset of, okay, let's come up with plan B in case.
Yeah.
Then we probably would have been far better off.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the companies that didn't get affected by it didn't necessarily already have stuff in play for it, but at least had a framework because a fraction of the company was already work at home.
Mm-hmm.
Because, case in point, most of your customer support stuff where you call in,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them even when you text chat with someone, You're talking to someone that's sitting at home.
That was me for 3 months.
I've done it too.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's like when there's already certain parts of a company functioning on it, it's far easier for them to transition because they've got most of the framework. It's just making sure everyone's got the tools.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's one of those. It's weird to think that no one, game development or and most of the tech jobs, had any kind of a backup for that. And unfortunately, as a result of that, that's where we get the whole, like, the Silent Hill. I'm gonna say it's Silent Hill 2 showcase, because that's really the only thing of substance there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's kind of why this entire year of Nintendo Directs has kind of been eh.
Mm-hmm.
It's a case of nothing was in play, so nothing was getting done.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the Silent Hill showcase. Shall we talk about the Resident Evil one then?
Guess so.
Alright, so Capcom did a Resident Evil showcase. The main thing out of it was just a more extensive look at RE4. At least gameplay-wise, we got a deeper look at that. And some impressions of it came out. It seems to be mainly, from a lot of people that are playing like 20 minutes of it, it's the one village scene that people remember from that game. The Swarm one with the Chainsaw Man. That seems to be what people are playing in terms of impressions and stuff. Took a look quick through it. It's definitely RE4 still. It looks like our merchant friend. You're not just buying stuff from him, you're also crafting stuff and improving stuff through him as normal. Even your knife and Anti case is still here, but that was kind of in 8 as well. It honestly seems like more or less a lot of the stuff that was going to happen for this RE4 remake is present in Village in some respects, since Village, I think, was just pulling from RE4 to start with. So it's a weird circle that we have come from one to the other. But it's going to come out in March. RE Village is heading to the Switch Cloud. The Winter's expansion is going to come out on October 28th as well. RE2 is going to come to the Switch November 11th. RE3 is going to come on the 18th. And then Village is on the 16th. And these are all cloud versions. Resident Evil Reverse Early Access with crossplay is coming out October 24th. So just a couple weeks away. Or less than a week away. It's 2 days away. Dark. But yeah, any thoughts on any of the Resident Evil?
No.
I hope the RE4 remake is good. It definitely seems like, interestingly enough, Ashley might get more to do, because we seem to be checking in with her pre-Leon showing up, along with seeing her like partially infected, since both her and Leon get infected in the game. It's kind of a plot point of the game. I'm not really spoiling anything for RE4 here. Yeah, yes, they're both infected. It's kind of the plot. But we see her kind of holding a gun while infected, seemingly pointing the gun at Leon while she's trying to fight it, but because of the weird cut in it, I feel like this might not be that case. But yeah, we'll see. I am hopeful. And last up, do you remember that Final Fantasy VII mobile game that was a battle royale?
Nope.
Well, a lot of people don't, apparently, because it's shutting down. Goodbye, Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. You are done. Goodbye.
The first soldier had the last stand.
Yep, it will be ending January 11th of this year, or next year. My bad. They're apparently still going to provide updates and stuff until the last day. So folks that are enjoying the game get one last hurrah. But yeah, goodbye, Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. You are gone. I don't think people are going to miss you, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I'm sure there's about 2 people out there that would.
I'm willing to bet more people than are active on Metaverse will. All 34 of you. I'm sure First Soldier pulled more than 34 people currently.
You know what would be funny?
What?
It had 35. Just barely beating it.
Well, before we get into the release and stuff, I gotta step away real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's get to releases. All 20,000 of them. So I guess we'll kick off on the 25th. Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo Limited Edition. It's going to come out in the Series X. Garbage Pail Kids and Mad Mike and the Quest for Stale Gum on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch. Is this the first Garbage Pail Kids game? This can't be the first Garbage Pail Kids game. I refuse to believe that.
It'd be funny if it is.
They have a mobile game. I'm not seeing anything else besides that.
So it's first console game.
Seems like it.
Kind of funny.
We also have Miraculous Rise of the Sphinx for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Mount Blade 2 Bannerlord for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge for Xbox One, PlayStation 4. I need to get you a copy of that so we can do that for a co-op or rampant gaming. Because that is a very good beat 'em up. It'd be perfect to do for a couple weeks or so on either show. Because it will not take us long to get through it. Because it is a beat 'em up. On the 26th, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, Wanderer of the Rift for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. On the 27th, there's like 1,001 fucking things. Jesus. Rule number 1 for PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. SD Gundam Battle Alliance Unit and Scenario Pack 3 for Switch. Star Ocean, The Divine Force for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Ultimate Edition for Series X and PlayStation 5. The Pinball Wizard for Switch. On the 28th, Bayonetta 3 is going to come out on Switch. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. Have they really not promoted this COD? I feel like they haven't.
I mean, they have, but not super in your face like normal.
Okay, I felt like we were had that question of like, are we getting a COD this year? Because it doesn't feel like we were getting a COD this year, but what we are, even though it feels like there's no hype around it. Coco Melon, play with JJ for Switch. That is a thing I see at work all the time. I don't know what this is. Coco Melon. What is Coco Melon? Factorio for Switch. All of the RE stuff. We will move on to the 31st in Amazing Chicken Adventures for Switch. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed Collector's Edition for PlayStation 5. Star Trek Prodigy Supernova for Stadia. Stadia release in this walking corpse of Stadia. Because also ReVerse and the Village Winters expansion are coming out on Stadia. The literal corpse that is walking corpse that is Stadia, since that is shutting down. I am surprised Stadia is still getting releases. Starting off November with the first Skywalker Saga Galactic Edition, first on Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 2nd, Hat Up for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Mario Parties 1 and 2 are coming out for the N64 emulators on Switch Online. Hooray! That'll be fun to play. And the 3rd, How to Say Goodbye for Switch. Marvel's Iron Man VR for Oculus Quest. Run Box Run for Switch. And lastly, on the 4th, Humankind for Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5. It Takes Two for Switch. They Always Run for PlayStation 4 and Switch. And that is pretty much it, folks. Not the most exciting list. We don't have a whole lot going on. Anything else?
No.
All right, then. Tomorrow, then, we're starting our look at Kamen Rider Hibiki. It's gonna be a hoot.
Mm-hmm.
Look. Hibiki is a good show, I swear, as far as I remember from watching it like 6 years ago at this point. Up to when the staff change happens, and then the show is probably not going to be as good. Which is well into the 30s is when that staff change happens. So, like, I promise it's a good show, but, like, watching those first couple episodes, I'm like, this is gonna be might be a struggle. Because it's not bad, but it's definitely not what you're expecting of a writer show, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I think it's why some people think that Hibiki was never meant to be a writer show, even though that's not the case. I think that's been disproven. Hibiki was always intended to be a writer show. I have to go rewatch Taka's video. I think Taka Katetsuto is talking about it, because I'm pretty sure Hibiki was always meant to be a writer show, and that's just kind of a misinformation thing that's kind of just seeped into being the truth, even though there's no backup for it. But there's that. Next Thursday, I'll be continuing Monster Rancher Ultra Kaiju. Friday will be maybe Star Citizen one more time.
If not, it'll be majority.
Yep. Saturday will be a thing.
Yes.
And next Sunday will be us continuing Hibiki. You gonna do another random stream during the week at all?
Tells me someone the schedule because I know I put it in.
I forgot to check. Check. I will check right now. Monday, you're doing Rando Part 2 for Wind Waker.
Yep.
Okay. This is what happens when I don't check the schedule before I start this bit. Anywho, that's the schedule ahead. So if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away that feeling. Go add to you on Twitter because updates a lot. Next special point, Discord tag is this way. Drop by, say hi. See you tomorrow, folks.